Welcome to the Alpha Training and Consulting's online training program. Today's module is entitled ISO Accelerated Implementation Plan module. Alpha Training and Consulting has just finished implementing a process which can help your company become compliant with ISO type standards within 6 weeks of start date. By ISO standards, we are referring to the following: ISO 9001, which is a general quality management system standard for general industry; AS 9100, which is also a quality management system standard for the aerospace industry; and ISO 13485, which is a QMS standard for the medical device industry and pharmaceutical. Slightly longer time frames are for ISO 17025, which is for calibration labs; IATF 16949, which is for automotive; ISO 14001, which is environmental. Now you may ask yourself, how are we able to accomplish such a task when traditional methodologies take approximately 6 months at double the implementation cost, probably more than double? The answer to this question is we have eliminated all the waste. In other words, we've leaned out the implementation process big time from traditional ISO implementation methodologies, while also using the latest technologies available for optimal efficiency and effectiveness. So leaning it out with the latest technologies, and we'll show you how quickly we can implement ISO standards. The first thing you need to understand is on day one, all of your ISO requirements will be downloaded to your customer designed web portal. So we'll create an online learning management system. It's more than just a learning management system, as you'll see, but you'll go to the website, log into your portal. You'll come into your portal, your logo will be up here, so it will look like your own learning management system, which it is. And then go to Documents and Policies. And this is where all the ISO requirements are. Day one, we already have this done. And all the training for those are on your website day one. You can start training on day one, online training. Like I say, we use the latest technologies. And you can go over here and you can click on any of these requirements, such as environmental aspects. You could go view details. And it'll take you over here. This is on legal and other requirements. But you come in here and there's files for procedures, records, forms, master lists, revision history, memo to file, etc. And you can add other documents or files as needed. Anyway, day one, these are already loaded, all these files. And inside those files, you'll see procedures, usually in PDF files. And that now people can download those from the website and look at those procedures. So we will go through and create these procedures within days for your company. Okay, all the general ones. The more specific ones you'll have to write, but most of them are general. So we'll have most of those accomplished very quickly. We already have them written all up. We add your company logo and you're ready to go. You'll have all your procedures. So I'd say on day 2 or 3, that's where we're at. We have all these procedures done. In the meantime, everyone's getting trained already. Maybe they're already trained. Just depends on how aggressive you want to get. And of course, in this learning management system, you'll be able to see the names of all your employees. We'll put those in there for you. Then you can go click for a given employee. You can click on that graduation cap, and it'll show all their required training that they have to have to for their ISO implementation needs. And so that will all be there for them. Here's an example of one: calibration P-7.6 for procedure 7.6. Remember, all training is delivered online to optimize flexibility and effectiveness. You can see also, go into any employee, you can look up their test scores here, and you can even go into details, and it will show you the exact tests, show you which ones they missed, so you can go back and make sure they understand the correct answer to those problems, so when the auditor comes, everyone's ready. There's a calendar of all your required training. That happens automatically also. The corrective action system is also online, so the corrective action system is already set up. All employees need to do is go in there, add a support ticket, and start entering corrective actions, which they'll want to do because you want to show that the corrective action system has been used and is effective. We also present the training modules in such a way that you perform your first audit while you're being trained. We add corrective actions for procedures that must be completed and close them out when the procedures are uploaded, so by the time the auditor arrives, there will be evidence showing the corrective action system is being utilized and is effective. All necessary auditor training is also performed online and is included in the cost of the implementation. There's no hidden charges here. So day one, you should also start your people auditing training. This can oftentimes be a constraint to getting this done. There's quite a bit of training for internal auditors, so they'll want to get started on this ASAP, and as soon as they're done, guess what? They're going to be implementing the knowledge they learned in an internal audit. We also have a public library, if you will, that all members of the site can go to and purchase classes on an as-needed basis. Because you're a member of the site, you get 25% off on all these public library classes. We have over 50 classes that you can use to make your company more competitive. But these are in addition to the ISO training. But we have Lean training, Six Sigma training, auditing, GD&T, quality inspector, quality engineer, and many, many more. So we're kind of the one-stop shop to really not just implementing your ISO standard, but also continually improving the capability of your human capital to be more and more effective at creating quality. All right, with your support, we will have your organization ready for their registrar audit within 6 weeks. So let's get started today. Congratulations, you have almost completed this module. If you have any questions, please contact me and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Congratulations, you have completed this module. I hope you have learned something new that will enhance your career and your company's performance. Thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.